everybody. I'm Erin Brooker-Miller, and this is going to be my Des Moines Symphony Orchestra at Home live concert. And I'm going to wait a few minutes until the start of the concert, but I am just going to touch up some of my tuning, and then I'll reintroduce myself and we'll get started. Tuning my harp up a little bit, and then we'll get started. Okay, so now that I'm all tuned, we'll go ahead and get started. Again, my name is Erin Brooker-Miller, and I'm the principal harpist of the Des Moines Symphony. I'm really thrilled to be here as part of the Des Moines Symphony's at home live concerts. This has been a really unprecedented time for everybody, and it's been difficult not to be able to get together with everybody at the Symphony to perform the concerts that we were supposed to do. So I'm really glad that we've, different musicians in the orchestra have been able to put on these concerts to keep the music flowing during the pandemic times. And so I am actually not at home, nor am I at my parents' home, which is where I've been staying. I'm at a really beautiful artist retreat location in Spring Creek, North Carolina. It's called Azul. And I'm really grateful for Camille, who's here, who opened up her doors for me to come today, because the internet at my parents' house is not quite good enough. So hopefully you can the internet here is working and you can hear me and everything. But I'm really grateful that they were able to let us come by even during this time of social distancing. Feel free to send me questions or comments as I play. Some of the symphony staff can send things to me so I can answer some questions. And I'm going to go ahead and start with a JS Bach transcription. It's the Borés double from Violin Partita No. 1. So I chose this one because I love playing all of Bach's music. It's just such beautiful music, so it's always really fun to use that as a time to kind of reframe your mindset. And so I dabble in playing different Bach things at different times as warm-ups or things like that. So I had been using this one as a warm-up right before everything got canceled, and then I decided, okay, well, I'll just go ahead and finish fully learning it and memorizing it. So it's always a little scary to start a program with Bach because it's very exposed, but I hope it goes well. And the other thing I thought was really interesting about playing Bach, especially with how much counterpoint is in it, is it reminds me a little bit of putting together a musical puzzle. And I know a lot of people while they've been quarantining, have been doing a lot of puzzles. So to me, this was kind of my own musical harp puzzle to put together during this time. Thank you. So the next piece I'm going to play is a collection of dances by John Luther Adams. So it's called 5 Athabascan Dances, and it's from when he was living up in Alaska, he took these different pieces and kind of reworked them. Originally, they would have been all in unison with no harmony and no counterpoint. And so similar to Bach, you'll hear a lot of like similar things with the two hands playing together in counterpoint in these dances. And so the first and third dances are based on songs by a man named Joe Beatus, who was an elder in one of the Athabascan villages. The second dance is a short traditional song, and then the second and third pieces are derived from poems that were written from one of the Athabascan people that he was in contact with in their original dialect. So they're really interesting pieces. They've been really fun to play because they use the harp in a very different way than I'm used to. Harpists, generally, we do a lot of kind of arpeggiated motions, and this ends up using a lot of repeated notes. So it's been really different to wrap my mind around playing these pieces, but it's been a perfect time frame to do this in the quarantine. So because I've had some time to use my brain differently. So this is 5 Athabascan dances by John Luther Adams, and my husband, who is a percussionist, is going to join me on a few of the dances, and I'll introduce each one as we go. So the first one is called Grandpa Joe's Traveling Song. It's very upbeat. I've been doing a lot of hiking while out here. My parents live really close to this, or in the Smoky Mountains, and so we're lucky to have been able to get out of the snow and the cold and enjoy some nice warmer weather. So this is Grandpa Joe's Traveling Song. And Andy will be playing shaker. Okay, the second one is, I don't know how to say it in Alaskan, but De Na Dai, maybe, which translates to long ago. And this one is a little bit of a slower one. Unfortunately, we don't have, Andy would play finger cymbals and tam-tam at the end, but we don't have those instruments with us at the time, so you'll just have to imagine the last two notes I play should have finger cymbals and a tam-tam. Okay, this next one is called They Will All Go. This one is another upbeat one. It's, again, we're making a little bit of a modification on the percussion out of necessity from what we could travel with and what we had when we got here. But he'll be playing a shaker, and originally was supposed to have 3 tom-toms of different medium, low, and high sounds, but he's going to be using an Irish bar-on instead. This next one is my personal favorite of the set. Again, it's in Alaskan, and I definitely don't know how to say it, but it's Sheik Inuti, which translates to my relatives. And I think this one's really special. It makes me think of this time frame and how, you know, the only thing that really matters in life is the people you surround yourself with. And so I think this kind of just makes me think of that and all the things I'm grateful for despite what's going on in our global world right now.
Okay, and the last one is called Grandpa Joe's Hunting Song. Of course, up in Alaska, they would be hunting for animals, but
I'm a vegetarian and I prefer to think that he was hunting for morel mushrooms. Out here it's morel mushroom season, and so in our spare time, we've been trying to find some, and I've found 2, but we haven't found any more than that yet. We gotta do some more searching. So this is Grandpa Joe's hunting song, and what we sing in our heads as we look for morel mushrooms. Let me check and see if anybody has sent anything. Angie wants to know if I own my own harp. Yes, I do. This is mine. I got it when I was maybe 17 years old, right before I went to college. It's a Lion & Healy style 30, if you're interested. It's a great harp. It's been my companion for a while now. So I'm going to play something that maybe not everybody who comes to the symphony knows, is that I play the Irish harp in addition to the classical harp. And I always have. It's something when the very start of my lessons and things, I took Irish lessons and classical lessons, so it's a big part of my musical life. I'm going to play 3 Irish tunes for you, but instead of the typical dance tunes that you think of when you think of Irish music, I'm going to focus on 3 Turlough O'Carolan pieces. So O'Carolan was a blind Irish harper who lived at the turn of the 1600s. I get confused about the century. Right before he lived during the 1600s and 1700s. And he would go around to different locations in Ireland and write pieces for his places that he stayed. He would write for the head of the household or someone a friend of his he would write music for. He's really interesting because although he is Irish and it's very much still in the Irish tradition, it has a more classical sounding sonority than most Irish tunes. And so that's why I decided to play it today, because I didn't bring my Irish harp with me down to Tennessee where my parents live, and I only brought this harp. And the harps have The biggest difference is the size. My Irish harp would be about this tall, and the string tension is a lot higher on this harp than it would be on my Irish harp. And so some of the fast dance tunes don't quite sound the same on this instrument, but these O'Carolyn tunes fit really well. So I'm going to play first Fanny Power, and then a tune called Loftus Jones. And typically these wouldn't be played together, but I think they sound nice going one from the other. So I'm going to play both back to back. And if you have any more questions, feel free to send them along. these. Darren wants to know what made me want to play the harp. So for me, it's really was just love at first sight. I went to a Christmas concert when I was 8 years old that featured a harp and violin duo, and it was the first time I had ever seen a harp in my life, and I just was completely enraptured by it, and for the next 2 years begged my parents to get me a harp so I could start playing. It took a lot of convincing because harps are big and expensive. And of course they were like, where do we even start? But for my 10th birthday, I got my big present that year was harp lessons. So yeah, it was really just a one-off encounter, and it just made me really love it and want to keep doing it. And then Nillifer, hello, long time no see, says, how long have I played with the Des Moines Symphony, and do I play with any other groups? So this is my 3rd season with the Symphony. I started in the 2018-2019 season. No, yeah, that's right. 2017-2018 season. And it's just been a really great time. I love everyone in the orchestra, and it's been a really amazing place to play. But I live in Milwaukee, so I have played with the Milwaukee Symphony, and I've kind of bounced around to different places. I've played with the Boise Philharmonic in Idaho, and with the Kalamazoo Symphony in Michigan, and when I lived in Indiana, I played with a bunch of different groups down there. So. And then in addition to playing in orchestras, I also like to play in chamber groups, so I try to do that as much as I can. In Milwaukee, I play with a flutist named Emma, so hello if you're watching. And yeah, so I like to do a lot of different things, but that's how long I've been with Des Moines. So this next piece is called Shebeg Shumor, which in Irish means Little Fairy Hill, Big Fairy Hill. It's another one by Turlock O'Carolan, and Andy's going to join me on a low D whistle. It's the same instrument as what you would see the traditional Irish tin whistle, but then eventually somebody decided to make a big low one, which is really nice. Gives a nice sonority for this type of music. He wants me to give a disclaimer that this is not his primary instrument, but he sounds great on it. So this is Little Fairy Hill, Big Fairy Hill. Do you want to tune? No, you're good. Okay. not yet. So I'm almost finished. I have one more little ditty for you. So one of the things I was trying to think about for this program, what to play, I was trying to think of, what would be a good 20-second something that I could leave you with to wash your hands for the required 20 seconds. And so this song popped into my head, which is one of my favorite songs by the Beatles. It's called Her Majesty. And it is from the Abbey Road album, and originally was kind of just a throwaway tune that they added on. It's something that Paul McCartney wrote. And it was supposed to be between, if you're a Beatles person, it was supposed to be between Mean Mr. Mustard and Polythene Pam. So at the end of Mean Mr. Mustard, there's this big chord that they end on. So that's the start of this song. But that doesn't count towards the 20 seconds. It just sets the mood. And then when they did all the editing for the album, they ended up putting this song at the end of the album as a hidden track, and I think I've read that it's one of the first hidden tracks that ever existed, and it was just a tag on at the very end, and if you didn't listen to the full record and let it go all the way to the end, you maybe would have missed it. So this is Her Majesty, and I'm going to sign off with this. So I'll say some thank yous once I finish, but this is, just a 20-second little fun thing. That's all I have for you guys tonight. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's been really fun to put together this concert and have something to motivate me to practice, because during this period it's been, it's hard to stay motivated when nothing's going on. So I've been really happy, and I want to thank the Des Moines Symphony for hosting these concerts and giving me the opportunity to play. And a special shout out to Megan and Allie, who did the behind the scenes to get it all set and started. And then I also want to make sure to thank Azul, this beautiful space. If you ever get a chance to come out to this area of the country, you should definitely check it out. Look them up on Facebook or just search for their website. It's a really, really unique place. This is my second time doing a performance here, and it's always really lovely to come. So thank you so much to Camille for letting us do this live stream here. And then I just wanted to thank Andy for joining in, and he did a lot of the setup for me since I'm not super tech savvy, and for playing with me. It's always fun to do that. I want to thank my parents for letting me stay with them for 3 weeks. And be able to enjoy the nice weather down here. Thanks to all the viewers for tuning in. And I want to thank, lastly, all of the people who are essential workers who are out there doing what needs to get done during this time. And I hope that everybody is staying healthy and staying safe. So until next time, and until we can get back together to play as an orchestra, I hope you guys stay happy and healthy. See you then!